God, I look like I just came back from a poetry slam and drinking really dry red wine. Hey guys, it's Audrey. Ironically enough, with this video and this turtleneck, I'm just realizing, kind of funny. I'm noticing tons of other like YouTube designers and illustrators and art people doing videos like this, and I think it's great because I feel like we all need the perspective, different perspectives, so I thought I'd give mine. But yeah, in this video I'm going to talk about what I wish I learned in art school. It's been about 5-ish years since I graduated. I went to Columbus College of Art and Design, 2015 to 2019, got to graduate semester early, woo! My first semester as an illustration major, funny enough, found out I hated it, even though I am an illustrator, and then spent the 3 years as an advertising and graphic design major. But yeah, like I said, I think it's super important to kind of give perspective on this because it's another big debate of, is it worth going to art school? Can I just learn what I want to learn online? I think yes to both. Art school is very important for certain things, and definitely worth it for certain things. And then the internet is also great for certain things. But in both, you kind of lack something, it's kind of a pick two situation. And so just to say as a caveat, this is my personal experience. This is not how all art schools are across the board. This is just me speaking from my experience, my 3.5 years of going to art school. But overall, I will say I learned a shit ton in art school, and I had experiences there that definitely wouldn't have gotten anywhere else, especially being on my own or self-learning or whatever. So yeah, I'll just get into it. So I want to start with the things I think CCAD did really well for me personally, and then I'll get into kind of my main 3-ish points of what I wish I would have learned. So kind of starting off, I feel like they did a really good job of teaching technical skill very well. Pretty much right off the bat, they teach you to use your hands as this is your tool, whether that's analog. We all had to take drawing methods, no matter if you were an animation major or a cinematic major. Everyone had to go into drawing methods and learn to live sketch, do still lifes, all that stuff, learning the different points of drawing and design and everything, all the principles. But beyond that, beyond analog stuff, digitally, we all had to learn Illustrator, InDesign, Photoshop to some degree. That degree being we did what we had to do to get the project done, and then after sophomore year, you kind of ventured off into your own respective crafts and majors, and you did more of that or you did less of that. But regardless, learning the Adobe programs right off the bat, extremely useful and helpful. And that only comes with having projects and having tasks to practice those things with. So good job. That was a good thing at CCAD. Another great thing, especially toward junior and senior year, was just the independence that you kind of started to gain as you ranked more in seniority and the professors are more chill with you, and being able to kind of take a little more independence with your projects, and start to venture out into the things that you wanted to kind of dip into a bit more, in terms of topic or subject matter, stuff like that. I think above all, the best part about going to art school was just the social aspect. And I think being around colleagues and being around a very creative environment where people are bouncing off ideas and contradicting others and critiquing and, in a healthy way. Some people didn't know how to critique and that didn't help at all. But being able to make things better every day, and help make your friends' stuff better every day, and just the collaboration, you got into the rhythm of collaborating with people, learning how to work with other people, the communication side of it, and that is absolutely 100% something you don't get from being self-taught or just, being by yourself, learning online. And granted, there's courses online where you're in a class with other people and, you can comment and, give feedback and stuff, but it's just not the same. Some things are just not the same in a class environment. So that's something I'll always treasure that at CCAD, was just the collaboration, and learning from other people, how to make a good deck, how to make a really good presentation deck, And that came with time too, and realizing, oh my god, mine looks so shitty compared to this person's, but you know, you learn that for the next time, and how to present yourself, how to present your work, the speaking aspect of like talking about your work and why you chose to do certain things. Again, that's all stuff that you just can't be taught. You kind of have to experience it and do it to learn it. So yeah, kudos CCAD. That was some of the best stuff, best memories ever. Now into the dark side of the video. Just kidding. Yeah, so getting into the stuff that I wish I would have gotten to touch on more in school, or, you know, they taught us and hone in a little bit more. Overall has to do with industries and like industry standards, the various types of industry within being like a graphic designer, like advertising, and like where you can take the skills that you learn in school and the different places you can go with it. I think the main thing that I wasn't really a huge fan of in my time as a ad graph major was I think we were just kind of trained to think that the only places we could really go was like an ad agency or like a web design studio, making logos all the time, and like branding and stuff, which funny enough, back then in school, I hated brand work and I hated logo design because it just seemed like run of the mill, like that's like all that you could do as a designer. And I was just like, ugh, like I don't want to do that. I want to do stuff with like video games and movies and TV, and like where's the design in that, you know? And I'm not a cinematic major, so what am I supposed to do? But and funny enough, now I'm doing more brand and logo work than ever, and it's actually really fun because it's for video games. But anyway, I digress. So the first kind of point I'll make is in regards to industry standards. I think that it's super important for professors to be up to date on what the industry standards are. And obviously there's certain things that don't change, like, you know, printing, 300 DPI at least for print, you know, stuff like that. Like that's just more technical, but in terms of just methodology and like the tech behind stuff, like it'd be amazing to have not necessarily a class, but have it incorporated within coursework to utilize the most current technology and programs that are used in industry standards. And I know that that comes with technological, obstacles sometimes. Like not everyone's gonna have an iPad to use Procreate Dreams. Not everyone has a Cintiq. You have maybe a MacBook, if you're lucky, and an Adobe subscription, but beyond that, for animators and designers that can also animate, where are those industry standards being taught in the classroom to say like, hey, this is the kind of like file format, here's the process, here is like how you deliver this for TV or social media, and like specs, like the tech side of it, the specs and everything, and just how to deliver a project, not just a concept. And again, that's something CCAD did very well, was teaching you how to think conceptually and how to deliver an idea, and to question why it works and why it doesn't, and that there's 1,000 ways to do one thing. I just wish I would have gotten a little more of like the industry standard, like this is what to expect after you graduate kind of thing, so you're already ready to jump into it and use it. I think point number 2 has to kind of do with like roles in the industries. Like we kind of heard them floating around every now and then, like creative director, art director, and that's about it. We didn't really hear about like producers and technical directors and the other pieces of the puzzle that made a pipeline what it is within like an agency or company. But yeah, just learning a bit more of like the roles and responsibilities of what a creative director is versus an art director. What do they do? What are they responsible for? Who do they report to? And I know that this is like different, like roles are different everywhere you go in the whole like hierarchy sometimes. And what kind of like milestones should you be working on while you're in school versus like when you graduate to eventually obtain an art director title? Because I've always wanted to be some kind of director. Creative used to be. Now I'm more in the art director realm where I care much more about the like look and feel of things, and obviously I care about the concept, but being able to take the concept and then manifest it visually, I think is where I personally lie more. But yeah, learning about what that means in school, and especially when working on like group projects with people, and kind of seeing how those roles can kind of play out within a group, I think would have been fun. And just kind of getting a taste of like everyone has their responsibility, and you know, make sure you deliver kind of thing. But yeah, it'd be nice to know just what kind of things should you have at like an expert level before you can call yourself an art director, or like especially if you're a freelancer, you can kind of call yourself whatever the you want. Certainly there's a level of like credibility that you need to, you know, have for yourself, and you need to show it in your work. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but I still hesitate to call myself that, even though I have some experience to speak to in that way. But yeah, it's also a subjective thing too. But yeah, overall would have been nice to understand a bit more of like who all these people are when you graduate and you go to an agency or a company or whatever, studio, and how you're supposed to work with them, what the expectation is and stuff. And again, I know some of this is company to company or studio or whatever, but yeah, just a general overview would have been really cool. My final one, which is the main one that I tell anyone who asks what I didn't care for with art school, and it's not even that I didn't care for it. It's just there was a lack of industry exposure and awareness. Again, to my point of we are always kind of just told about the mythical ad agency and web design studio, and you can do branding and packaging. There you go. Happy graduation, you know, hope you find a job kind of thing. And for me, I felt lost, even though college was super fun and I did a lot. I worked my ass off. It paid off tenfold, but I still felt like there was something missing with where I could have directed my attention and my skills, and that being more within the entertainment realm. And again, like you can't persecute professors for not knowing things they just don't know about by any means, but if there was like an hour and a half course or something where you just learned about different industries and the evolution of them and how they're contributing to what we see now, and just learning about where each of us respectively could have just honed in on like where we wanted to discover more, and just the curiosity element. And I feel like in that I kind of got like a late start, and I wanted to be involved in entertainment somehow, but had no idea how. I figured that entertainment was the realm for cinematic majors and the animation majors too, and I just didn't know like where I could have a footing. But then, you know, later on in my freelance career, discovered that, you know, branding, visual identity, and like campaign identity stuff is a thing, even for video games. Seeing for TV, for example, and like FX, for example, has like the sickest TV promos I've ever seen. I always thought they were super cool. Some were animated, some are like just really, really cool treatments of photography or video and like graphically treated. Like I haven't seen anything like that before. And so stuff like that, you know, I wish there was just a little more insight on like where that stuff came from and how to find those agencies or companies that do that kind of work. And also, you know, trying to tailor a project within school that is tailored toward that industry as well, that makes sense and is something that you can show to a potential employer and say like, hey, I would love to work with FX. Can I have a job, please? And here's my portfolio. I'm familiar with your guys' work and like roughly how the, you know, cake is made. Can I have a job, please? Anyway, that's kind of the TLDR of my qualms with art school, but overall, nothing huge to complain about. It's something that I think would just be a really good improvement for any art school, not just CCAD, and just something to consider for the students that truly don't know where they're going and how they can best utilize their time, honing in on their craft, finding their visual voice, and being able to show that to potential employers and be like, I could be of value to you. Can I have a job, please? That's the quote of this video. So anyway, to whoever may be watching this, maybe you're a student or maybe you're self-taught and thinking about art school or whatever, I hope this was helpful. If there's ever any questions regarding art school and my experience or just general things like that, people in the comments who have answers for that can answer. I'm happy to answer. And if there's anything you guys would like me to elaborate on in a different video, I can certainly do that as well. But yeah, take with it what you will. Go out there and get yourself some knowledge. Where you want to go, what you want to do within design and illustration and all that good stuff. And can I have a job, please?